What up? What up? What up, YouTube? Your boy OMO back again. We got another stream. We got a couple of things to talk about because some shit's been going down, of course, in these streets. The OMO mustard scouring around the internet streets. But, yesterday I did do a stream where I was talking about Kobe and, like I was supposed to debate somebody. Let me actually tell y'all how that went because the whole thing didn't end yesterday. It did not end yesterday. No way, they deleted that tweet. That's crazy. I'm looking at some other shit too. Let me find it. So, yesterday I had a stream where I was supposed to debate somebody about Kobe. For those who don't watch wrestling, this guy, TJ Perkins, he used to be a wrestler in WWE, won the first ever Cruiserweight Championship after the Cruiserweight Classic. And basically, he's not the first ever Cruiserweight champion ever. I'm not going to disrespect some of the goats we've had in that Cruiserweight division back in the day. Shout out to Jerry. Shout out Super Crazy. Rey Mysterio, Matt Hardy. Shout out those guys. But this guy, TJ Perkins, was responding to me in a tweet I made about Kobe Bryant. Basically, I had said, let me find it here. I made a post in response to a take Real Talk had about Kobe. And here's the take right here.
And still to this day, even with LeBron James playing 35 years in the league, still has played against more top 10 defenses in the playoffs than LeBron James. And so what happens is a lot of these fan bases think because, oh, my player has this amount of sample size and stats against top 10 defenses, they think that if they were to continue playing top 10 defenses, they assume success. That rate would continue. However, we've seen now multiple times with some of the greatest offensive players that we've ever seen, according to some. Let's look at Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic, just a few years back, was considered arguably the greatest offensive player of all time. But as he continues to play these good defenses, we see surprise performances or the lackluster thereof because he's actually playing another good defense. So my point is, even if LeBron has played, let's say, 18 top 10 defenses and Kobe Bryant has played 26, the LeBron fan would assume that if he played the 8 more to get up to the 26, that he would just continue the success rate that he had for the 18. But actually, what happens is usually as you increase volume going against better competition, that probably would suggest it would go down a little bit.
Okay, so that was his take. I responded with this tweet, such a disingenuous talking point. Kobe faced numerous top 10 defenses before he was ever even a starter or an all-star. And let me actually clarify that part. Obviously, Kobe was an all-star in year 2 technically, right? But he was not legit playing at an all-star level. I think he even went into the playoffs averaging 8 points a game. But regardless, I think Kobe was still good. And in year 3, he was good as well, but there wasn't even an all-star team that year because lockout. But he was all NBA. I'll give him that. So that's on me for not clarifying that. I was really just talking about like those first 2 years where he faced, I think, 3 to 4 top 10 defenses, and even then, I wouldn't even consider year 3 Kobe like his prime. I think Kobe's prime really started like 2000, maybe 2001, if you want to say that, from 2001 up until like 2012, 2013, around that time, and that's why I brought that part up. And then on top of that, he played with Prime Shaq against a lot of those top 10 defenses, like the Spurs. They were a top 10 defense that they faced pretty routinely. The Trailblazers, the Jailblazers, I should say. You can't compare that to LeBron, who was the number one option like his whole career, pretty much, whole prime, pretty much. And then this guy had this video, TJ Perkins.
Your guy Bill Russell, 56%. Larry Bird, 55%. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 43%. Magic Johnson and LeBron James are sitting at 50% of their opponents faced were 50-win opponents, right? Steph Curry, 63%. Tim Duncan, 65%. Michael Jordan, 67%. 85% of Kobe Bryant's playoff opponents that he faced throughout his entire career won a minimum of 50 games. That is by far the hardest gauntlet of competition that any player has ever faced.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that right there because I was a little even annoyed that he brought that up because this wasn't necessarily about level of competition somebody faced, because I think Kobe did face tougher competition, at least in the Western Conference, than LeBron faced. But I don't know why that's brought up when we're just talking about offensive ability against top 10 defenses. Because in this clip, Real Talk's talking about Nikola Jokic, right? He referenced Nikola Jokic as well. His point wasn't even necessarily to harp on LeBron from the clip that I seen. Maybe that whole convo was about LeBron, but he specifically mentioned Jokic. Oh shit, I done lowered my chair. My fault, y'all. But yeah, he was specifically mentioning Nikola Jokic and how good he's played in the playoffs when a lot of the teams he's played when he's had his best playoff series, of course, were bad defenses or not top 10 defenses as compared to when he plays these top 10 defenses, his numbers drop to a certain level that maybe some other players may not, it may not have dropped to say the least, right? So I didn't have no issue with that point as far as Nikola Jokic, but then he expanded it to just their overall competition. So I was a little confused by that because not every 50-win team that you face is going to have a top 10 defense. You know, not all those Nuggets teams that Kobe faced had a top 10 defense. The Suns that Kobe faced in 06, 07, or yeah, 06, 07, and in 2010, they were not a top 10 defense. They were like a bottom 10 defense. And those are some of Kobe's best series, you know? So I wasn't even saying that to say LeBron had faced tougher competition. It was just more so the circumstances that they faced said standards that Real Talk was talking about. But regardless, he wanted to do that. And we had like a little back and forth for a while where we just went, you know, had conversations. But eventually I had asked him to jump on a stream. Where was it? I think it was here. Maybe it was in one of these. But eventually I asked him to jump on a stream. I think it's one of these because he kept going. Like he just kept going. And where was it? I can't remember. He had a whole bunch of responses, fam. And then he kept adding me to like lists on Twitter. So like I guess all the Kobe Hive saw it and they just kept coming at me. Did he not have multiple here? I think it might be this one or this one. It don't matter. Eventually I asked him to come on the stream and then he didn't come on the stream. He didn't come on the stream at all. And then when I asked him, okay, like we could do a stream or a space, he didn't show up. He said he was going to show up and he didn't. Actually, let me find it because I don't want to make it look like I'm accusing him of something that he didn't do. So let me find that tweet exactly where he agreed to come on the stream, but then he backed out last minute. Here it is right here. So as you guys can see, yeah, we're going to get to Josh Allen. That's going to be the first thing we talk about, y'all. Don't worry about that. But I asked him, I was like, do you want to do a Twitter space? Because, you know, he started saying I was an insecure LeBron fan. They'd rather talk on socials, said I see LeBron as a comic book hero. LeBron's not even my favorite player, mind you. Like, I've had videos, I've had tweets where I've defended Kobe, but it's fine, you know, like that's how these people get online. I said, do you want to do a stream or a Twitter space with me? We could debate all these talking points that you've clearly dedicated a lot of time to go in more depth. Because if you go on his page, a lot of his takes are, you know, he's talking about Kobe. There's some other stuff too. It's not solely about Kobe. But here he is here responding to some shit about LeBron. Here he is here again responding to some shit about Kobe. Here he is here talking about Will, Jerry West, all this shit. Here he is again talking about LeBron. And, you know, like that's kind of his thing. Like he likes to defend Kobe and, you know, shit on LeBron. That's fine. That's your gimmick. You have your gimmick. We all have gimmicks. You feel me? But then he says, sure. I said, follow back so we can message each other to set it up. He said, no, set it up right here. Space or stream. Keep in mind, or stream. No mod. I said 6 p.m. Central Time tonight, which is why I started my stream yesterday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I actually fucked up and said Central instead of Eastern. But I was like, okay, cool, whatever. He said, I performed tonight, so you have an hour of my time. No mod, no muting. The things I say won't be up for debate either. You can either say your piece, but none of it can be refuted. You can't change my mind since it's facts, so don't waste my time with agree to disagree over and over again. So if I can't change your mind and we're having a conversation and disagreeing, what are we doing if we're not agreeing to disagree? That's just really strange. So I said, if I disagree with something, I can't. So if I disagree with something, you say I can't refute it. He said, you can disagree, but you're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to concede to your narrative-based disagreement. Already making assumptions about what I'm going to disagree or how I'm going to disagree, but whatever. Problem is, you'll use a stat, for example, and think that's a fact, and it's not. It'll lack context, and you'll get upset that it isn't conceded. I said, absolutely not. This is a friendly debate between two people that disagree. Just because your mind doesn't change doesn't mean I'm not going to still cook your talking points. I said, so far you've been cooked. Feel free to waste an hour of your time doing that if you like, whatever. I said, say less, nigga. I'll see you at 6. Thumbs up. I sent him the stream to pull up. And then he says he'll start the space. He said, I'm in the car right now looking to go to a work venue. I said, I'm not on Twitter Spaces right now. I'm on a stream on my YouTube channel. LOL, whenever you're ready, pull up. He said he'll start the space. You could pull up or don't. I don't really care what you choose. When I get to this venue, I'll set my bag down and start. And you know, the wild thing is, he said earlier up here that, where was it? Something, yeah, no mod, no muting. Right? The things I say won't be up for debate. Like, you know, he's clearly like trying to control what the conversation is. And I still agreed. But then when I sent him the link, because it was my idea to do the stream, he then says he wants to start it. And I'm like, this is the shit I'm talking about. How you going to agree when I say let's do a stream or space, but then when I tell you that I'm on live for the stream, you want to switch up because you want to host the shit that was my idea in the first place. Like, that shit is just lame. It's cowardly. It's goofy. You know, and then eventually I said, where you at? And mind you, when I started the stream, look at the time. Oh, shit. I went back to my page. When I started the stream, it was 7:18. This is a little bit after I started the stream. I started the stream pretty much at 7 o'clock. Look at when he actually started the space. 8:02. My stream was up for a little less than an hour. So he started that space as soon as I finished the stream, which almost makes me feel like he watched that stream and just didn't even care to like join. He didn't want to join. He was on some pussy shit. And I don't know why. I don't know what I think the difference is he wanted to control the stream because I go into the stream and he constantly is muting me. He's constantly muting me. And it's wild, right? Because if you go to, he made a tweet about the stream, right? Because, you know, when you tweet or when you stream, you know, it turns into a tweet for other people to join and see that you're streaming. And if you go to the tweet, it's deleted. Because in the mentions, everybody was saying I was cooking them. And here's one of them. And in that space, right, we talked for almost an hour. This nigga said Big Z, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, was better in 2009 than Lamar Odom, y'all. I repeat, this nigga says Zydrunas Ilgauskas was better than Lamar Odom in 2009. You see what I'm saying? Just clown shit. And I said, that's why I had to leave the space. He constantly picked and chose which players to gas up and discredit for the sake of Kobe propaganda. He spent 15 minutes. We spent 15 minutes debating about LeBron's teams in the earlier 2000s, mid 2000s. And this nigga was gassing up Eric Snow. But then when it comes to Lamar Odom, he wants to downplay him and say he wasn't as good as Big Z because Big Z made a couple of All-Stars in the East. And, you know, he keeps going. He's trolling. And I'm like, I hear you, big dog. And he kept going. Maybe you'll be able to have, like, I said, I hear you. He just kept going. Just a child. Mind you, look how old this nigga is. He's 41. Nigga, you about to be 42 years old. And look how he moving. Just a child, man. A child. Nigga was muting and everything. And then he said, imagine thinking Lamar Odom off the bench. And, you know, it's niggas like this. And he's talking about context and shit. At the end of the day, you can't look at what somebody was and just generalize them off of just one specific thing that I guess has a certain connotation. Lamar Odom, yes, he did come off the bench for the Lakers. But Lamar Odom finished a lot of those games. He played pivotal minutes, key minutes in those games against legitimate starters. He was basically a starter masquerading off the bench, especially after they got Powell, because he wasn't needed in the front court as much because Powell provided a lot of the things Lamar did, being a solid passer. And Lamar actually had a handle. Lamar could push the break. Lamar was actually a decent shooter for his time at that position. But yet, he going to sit there and act like Lamar wasn't better than fucking Big Z in 2009. And he's going to reference Big Z making all-star teams a couple of years prior, when he was like 28, 29. That compares to Big Z at 33. Just clown behavior. Clown behavior. So for those who were wondering why I was on stream yesterday, it was because of that. Like, once he said that Big Z shit in the space, I had to get the fuck out of there. And like, he's just a child. 41-year-old grown man child. But let's get into the other shit, that like the real meat and potatoes of this stream. I'm sorry I had to open up like that. I just had to get that off my chest, because for those who are wondering what was going on yesterday, like literally as soon as I end the stream, that's when the nigga wants to start talking and he wants to make a space on Twitter. Just childish behavior. Truly, just childish behavior. That's all it is. But let's move on to the big topic, because as you guys can see the thumbnail, we're going to talk about some football today. We are going to talk about some football. As you guys can see here, Dan Orlovsky was ranking NFL quarterbacks. Let me move my shit over here. My shit not full screen, but make it a little bigger. So Dan Orlovsky was ranking NFL quarterbacks by trait. And he talked about arm strength, pocket presence, mobility, all of that. And it was a very quarterbacky list from what I was seeing. So we're going to see what Dan Orlovsky was ranking for the best quarterbacks in the league based on trait, y'all. We're going to see. Let's start off with arm strength. So he starts off with arm strength, and number 1, he has Josh Allen. 2, Justin Herbert. 3, Caleb Williams. 4, Matthew Stafford. 5, Patrick Mahomes. 6, Baker Mayfield. 7, Drake May. 8, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a wild one to me. Lamar at 9, 10, Dak Prescott. I think it's crazy that he has Joe Burrow at 8. I don't see Trevor Lawrence here. Trevor Lawrence has a very strong arm. You tell me Joe Burrow has a stronger arm than Trevor Lawrence and Lamar Jackson? Say what you want about Lamar's accuracy. I think Joe's more accurate than Lamar. But Joe doesn't have a stronger arm than Lamar. That's actually one of the knocks on Joe Burrow, his arm strength. I'm not saying he's got like a fucking noodle arm like Tua Tagovailoa, but he doesn't have a strong arm, especially to be 8th on this list. That's kind of wild to me. But I don't think this list is that crazy. Whatever, that's fine. Next, he had ball placement. Matthew Stafford at 1. Which I think is fine. Matthew Stafford's ball placement is pretty good. Drake May at 2. Wow. Drake May, after the playoffs we just saw, one of the most inaccurate playoffs, like one of the most inaccurate throwing of the football showcases we've seen in the playoffs for a while. And I understand he's a younger quarterback, but come on. What are we doing here? Why is Drake May at number 2? Number 3, Sam Darnold. I get he wants to show some love to Sam Darnold. I don't think I could put Sam Darnold above someone like Patrick Mahomes. That's a little too... Patrick Mahomes ain't even on the list. Wow. He ain't even have Patrick Mahomes on the list. Hey, Red Wing, that's a good-ass point, actually. If we're including non-starters, Anthony Richardson, that's a good-ass point. If we're including everybody, why is Anthony Richardson not on this list? You trying to tell me that Joe Burrow even has a stronger arm than Anthony Richardson? Come on now. That's a little wild. That's crazy to me. Wow, Anthony Richardson should be on this list. And I don't know, maybe he defined it by starters. Best in the game to borderline starters. But for 30, I'm narrowing on focus here in the preseason. Does anyone have the better arm than Josh Allen? He already started off dick eating Josh Allen. Does Joe Burrow or Matthew Stafford have more refined mechanics? Is Lamar Jackson still the golden standard of QB rushing? I ranked the top 10 quarterbacks. Okay. Wow. Oh, by trade. I thought he was saying these are the top 10. Okay. I included only starters. Okay, so he included only starters. That's why. I was going to say Anthony Richardson should be up here. But that's fine. That's fine. He's including only starters. So that's why AR didn't make it. I was going to say that would have been a little crazy. But Drake May at 2 is wild. Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's fine. Joe Burrow's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. So I don't have an issue with that. Jared Goff, he's very accurate too. Jordan Love at 6, a little crazy to me. Jordan Love and Josh Allen at 6 and 7 is a little wild. I think Mahomes should still be on this list. So Mahomes has the 5th best arm in terms of strength, and he's not a top 10 quarterback in terms of ball placement. I wonder where he ranks Mahomes in the fucking league at that point. Brock Purdy's accurate, so that's fine. Dak is accurate, that's fine. I don't have an issue with those two. Mechanics. Wow. Matthew Stafford at 1. I don't have an issue with that. Joe Burrow at 2. I don't have an issue with that. Daniel Jones. This nigga put Daniel Jones at 3. Nigga, some shit you just can't make up. Wow. That nigga had Daniel Jones at 3. He thinks Daniel Jones has better mechanics than Dak Prescott, than Patrick Mahomes. Lamar's at 10. But Lamar being below Daniel Jones in terms of arm mechanics? Hell, I'm not even gonna lie. I love Caleb. But Caleb's arm mechanics? Wow. Dak at 5, CJ at 6, Caleb at 7, Jaden Daniels at 8, Josh at 9, Lamar at 10. Mahomes, so let's go over this. Mahomes is not only a top 10 quarterback, he's not a top 10 quarterback in terms of mechanics. He's not a top 10 quarterback in terms of ball placement. And he has the 5th strongest arm in the NFL. Interesting. I just wonder how he even ranks Patrick Mahomes in the league. And let's keep track with Josh Allen. He's number 1 in arm strength. He's number 7 in ball placement. And in terms of mechanics, he's 9th. Interesting. Lamar is 10th in mechanics. Because I want to mark where like the top 3-4 quarterbacks are, in my opinion, and where he ranked them on this list. So Lamar is 10th in mechanics. He's 8th in ball placement. And he's 9th in arm strength. Okay. Let's keep going. This is the one that really caught niggas' eye, including my own, y'all. This is crazy right here, what we're about to see. He has Josh Allen number 1. He has Josh Allen number 1 in decision-making with the football. I repeat again, he has Josh Allen, a guy who's been one of the league leaders in turnovers since he became a starting quarterback in the NFL. He has him at number 1 with decision-making with the football. Wow. He has Jordan Love at number 3. A guy who throws one of the most boneheaded, he has some of the most insane turnovers I've ever seen. One of the most insane, like, let's do this. Let's just look up some clips of Jordan Love's interceptions. All you gotta do is just look up Jordan Love interception. Oh shit, my stream is tweaked out. I don't know if you guys can see me. My stream was tweaked out. I should be able to see good now. I don't know what was going on with my stream. That shit was tweaked out. Okay, can y'all see me? Is everything good? Is it smooth? Is it running clean? Oh, you said y'all can see me the whole time. My bad. I'm tripping. Okay. This nigga has Jordan Love at 3. Look at some of these interceptions, y'all.
It's intercepted.
What the fuck was that? Decision making, number 3. This is the 3rd best decision maker in the NFL as a quarterback, y'all.
Oh, zips one. Ah, it's intercepted.
That's the 3rd best. He's a better decision maker than Patrick Mahomes, y'all. Oh, I'll never forget this. And I know this is his, not rookie year, but his first year as a starter.
Pressure up the middle. Runs away. Throws across his body.
Cross-body throw. 46 seconds, down 3 in the playoffs in the divisional round. And he throws that shit across his body.
Across his
Wobbly
body.
ass noodle shit across. Like, I don't know what the fuck Jordan Love was doing there. That was his rookie year. Or his first year as a starter, so I won't kill him too much. This was the one that I don't even know. Like, this is... Remember when everybody thought the Packers were going to go undefeated when they got Micah Parsons? This is when they lost their first game. Game 3, week 3 of the season. And look at how that shit... Like, look at why they lost.
4-man run.
I don't know where the fuck he was going with that. I don't know where he was going with that. Talking about decision making. Once he's already loaded up with that pass, who's open here? Where are you going with the ball? There's 2 men in the middle. Where are you going with that? Because even before he loads up on the pass, what are you seeing to justify throwing when all 3 of these guys are covered? This guy's running up the middle. I assume he's coming in for a slant. But even when he comes in for the slant, do you not read that this guy is playing in zone in this part of the field? I don't know what you're talking about decision making. Where's the processing on that play? Oh, I'll never forget this one. This one was crazy. Falling down. Bruh, just take the sack. I understand you don't want to give up the safety, but it's better to give up 2 points than risk the opportunity for them to get 6. Because even if they didn't return this back for a pick 6, buddy, they would have had good field positioning. So he lobs that shit up and, of course, intercepted. What are we talking about here? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. That was an insane take. You are not allowed to have an opinion like that. You're just not. Josh Allen being number 1 is crazy enough. Jordan Love at 3 and Patrick Mahomes at 9. And I don't even understand how one season of Jaden Daniels tells you that he's a better decision maker than Patrick Mahomes. I don't even understand that. Or Dak or Lamar. Lamar has been one of the most, like, opposite of turnover prone. I believe, let's actually look this shit up. Zoom in a little bit. If you look at Lamar's career, I don't know, maybe he's just not quarterbacky enough. In the season, I thought he should have won MVP, even though I think Josh had a great season. Lamar in that season where he was first team All-Pro last year, not this past, like 2 seasons ago. Lamar had 41 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions with 4,100 yards. That ain't great enough decision making to at least be in the top 5 over Jordan Love, over Josh Allen. And Josh has gotten better with the turnovers. He's not as turnover prone as he used to be. But when you're coming off a playoff game where this guy just fumbled and cost his team the game, I believe he had 4 turnovers, an interception that was very pivotal in the end of that game. I don't care if it's a catch or not. It was an interception. On top of that, that fumble. I mean, what are we talking about? Let's actually pull that shit up. Thankfully, we can pull that shit up. We can pull it on video. Please. Tell me how this is the best decision maker in football, y'all.
No timeouts.
Tell me how, and mind you, they're in their own 30. So even if you get this first down, the value of this play, there's 12 seconds left on the clock. You have no timeouts. Did he think he was going to get down and then spike it? So this was a wasted play at the end of the half. I don't know what he's doing. This is the best decision maker in the league, y'all. He doesn't cover the ball, nothing. Loses that shit. Yanked right out his hands. And I remember when this happened, you know what Dan Orlovsky did? He blamed the lineman. He blamed the lineman for not getting the ball. Let me show y'all so y'all know I'm not tripping. So y'all know I'm not tripping when I say this. Where is that shit? Where is that shit? Oh, I'm going to find that shit. I promise y'all. We're going to find it. Because I remember. Don't tell me I can't find it, y'all. Oh, no. We're going to find the shit that nigga said. Because I'll never forget that. That was insane. This is the shit I be saying when I say niggas overrate. What the fuck is going on? Why is this shit? I'm going to find that video. Because nigga was dicky. Don't tell. Oh, did I spell his name wrong? Maybe I spelled his name wrong. Maybe I didn't spell it wrong. Oh, no, I didn't spell it right. Orlovsky. There you go. Bruh, don't tell me that. Nah, we're gonna find that shit, y'all. I promise you we are. What y'all saying in the chat? Someone said y'all said he works with the Bills. Bruh, don't tell me they deleted it off the social media feed, bro. Maybe I can't find it, yo. Maybe we're just not going to be able to find that clip because I remember what he was saying about Josh Allen. He blamed the lineman for not jumping on the ball, and that shit was insane to me. Wow. They done took that. They scrubbed that shit off the internet, y'all. I'll Google that shit. Fuck it. Here it is right here. I had to go to Facebook to find this shit. They just scrubbed it off Twitter. Look at what he said about that Josh Allen. What the hell? I don't know what that was about. Nigga, is this? I was about to say, what the fuck is that? A LeBron video.
Do this. Okay. He knows he can't do this, but like, watch. Buffalo's there to recover the fumble, and they don't. They're
I'm so glad I found it. This nigga blamed the lineman. I'm gonna play that shit again so y'all know I'm not tripping.
the Josh fumble right before the half. Yeah. Josh can't do this. Okay. He knows he can't do this, but like, watch. Buffalo's there to recover the fumble, and they don't. They're
This is the nigga that said Josh Allen is the best decision maker in football. When Josh fumbles, he wants to blame the lineman for not jumping on the ball.
big guy doesn't get on the ball, and they don't. That's 3 points once again.
Brother, why do you think they were in that position to kick the field goal after that? Because who chose to run the ball? The guy you said is the best decision maker in football. He chose to do that. Nobody forced Josh Allen to run with 12 seconds left on the clock. This nigga is unbelievable. This is a swallower. This is a glazer. This nigga's a meat rider. Oh my God, bro. This guy's a clown. This guy's a clown, man. Let's go to the next list. Pocket presents. This nigga's... Nigga. You can't make this shit up. Hold up, man. Hold up, because we got to stock up on this shit. We got to stock up, y'all. And I know numbers ain't everything, but nigga, he has Drake May at number 1 with pocket presents. Wow. Wow. Drake May, who led the playoffs in being sacked this past year. This nigga who had a passer rating of 82.2 in the playoffs. Had 4 interceptions. You know how many fumbles Drake May had in the playoffs? Let's find that shit. That nigga had 7 fumbles. 7 fumbles in the playoffs. 7 fumbles, 4 interceptions, and got sacked 21 times. And all of that was in the span of 4 games. And look, numbers ain't everything, right? You know, their tackle situation was really rough. Get ready to play guard, Will Johnson. Or am I getting the name right? Was it Will Johnson? Maybe I'm getting the name wrong. The tackle that they drafted in the first round last year. Maybe I'm getting the name wrong. Either way, it doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't even fucking matter. Drake May, Will Campbell, that's who. I said Will Johnson. That's the cornerback from Michigan. Drake May is a great quarterback. He's a great young QB. Do not get me wrong. But Drake May, when it comes to his pocket presence, one, he holds onto the ball way too long. His footwork is a little bit off. And that's one of the reasons why he takes a lot of really bad sacks. Sam Darnold being at 3 is crazy too. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Drake struggles at picking up blitzes. He struggles at reading coverages. And in the playoffs, it was so apparent to the point that, remember that mic'd up moment where this nigga, the Seahawks, I think it was Mafe. Maybe it might have been Mafe or like Devin Witherspoon, one of them. It might have been both of them. They were talking to each other. They were like, hey, I'm reading this play. I'm knowing he's going to throw that shit right in the middle. He said that right before. He said he was reading his eyes and he knows he's going to do it and he's going to pick that nigga off the next time he does it. He did the same thing again. Got picked off. Talking about pocket presence. And you got this nigga at number 1? Man. And everybody's blaming Will Campbell for a lot of the sacks that Drake May was taking. And it's the same thing I be saying about Joe Burrow. Y'all gotta watch some of these games and understand that these guys be holding on to the ball. Getting sacked is not just an O-line stat. That's also on the quarterback. I love Justin Herbert, man. I think Justin Herbert's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. You could argue a top 5 quarterback, definitely top 5 talent. But one thing about Justin Herbert, he holds onto the ball too damn long. It ain't just that Joe Alt's out. And this nigga had Drake May at number 1. This is fucking stupid. Hell, this is the list that Josh Allen should at least be on for top 10. You tell me he's not a top 10 quarterback in terms of pass presence, but Daniel Jones and Drake May at number 1? Mahomes ain't there. You tell me that Daniel Jones has better pocket presence than Patrick Mahomes. Man, and I know Caleb had a really good sophomore season, but we can't just act like a lot of the flaws in his first year didn't transfer to his sophomore year. Because a lot of his pocket presence is a little rough too. Man, that's insane. That's insane. That's ridiculous. That is actually ridiculous. I'm not even going to hold y'all. That's nasty. That's nasty work. Second reaction ability. Josh Allen at 1. He going to dick ride his boy. So whatever. And I don't even think that's terrible. Caleb Williams at number 2 for second reaction. Caleb Williams has better second reaction ability than Lamar Jackson, who's the best rushing quarterback of all time. Wow. And Lamar is at number 8. Bo Nix has better second reaction ability. Brock Purdy has better second reaction. Drake May has better second reaction ability than the Lamar Jackson. I mean, just say he's not quarterbacky enough for you, bruh. He ain't quarterbacky enough. Maybe it's this. I don't know. That's crazy to me. Rushing ability. Of course, Lamar is going to be number 1. Josh Allen at number 2. Drake May again at number 3. Caleb Williams. Justin Herbert. So this nigga, and this is the list where Jaden should be higher. So Drake May is a better runner than Jaden Daniels. Cool. Caleb Williams is a better runner than Jalen Hurts. Cool. Justin Herbert is a better runner than Jalen Hurts. Cool. That's wild. Baker Mayfield's a better rusher than Jaden Daniels, y'all. Because he he's tough. He's going to thug it out. He's going to break tackles. He's going to run between the tackles, all that shit. He's a gamer. He's a baller. Oh. Get the fuck out of here. Just say these niggas ain't quarterbacky enough. Maybe Jaden should move to wide receiver or running back so you can respect his rushing ability. Get the fuck out of here. My mic falling, y'all. That's how you know I'm annoyed. Even my mic said my mic can't stand that bullshit. That's a bar. My mic can't stand that bullshit. That's a bar. That was crazy, bro. That was crazy. And is there more to this list? There might be more to this list. Nah, that's it. That's the whole list. Look, let me say this about that stupid ass list that Dan Orlovsky made. That list where it has Josh Allen number 1 in terms of decision making is the perfect example of why a lot of people think Josh Allen is overrated. And I'm one of those guys. And I don't think he's like extremely overrated. And I think the better word actually, rather than overrated, is protected. Because it seems like whenever he makes all these just bonehead decisions or he fails in the playoffs, and it's in part due to his own doing, everybody's quick to point out the flaws of everybody else. Oh, I think it was Khalil Shakur didn't catch the pass. So that excuses Josh Allen having 4 turnovers and fumbling the ball with 12 seconds on the clock in the first half when they have no timeouts. I guess that's Khalil Shakur's fault. That's the lineman's fault because he didn't jump on the ball, right? It just seems like there's always an excuse. There's always an excuse. Or the fact that when they faced the Chiefs a couple of years ago in the playoffs, one of their many losses to the Chiefs, did Josh Allen not have the ball at the end of the game and went 3 and out? Oh, no, let's actually talk about the fact that the tush push, man, we got to put like a GPS device in the ball so we know if he actually crossed over the plane. It's always like now we're trying to make up new rules for Josh Allen, y'all. Y'all see how weird that is? Because the last time we changed the overtime rules for that nigga because he cried on the fucking bench because he didn't get on the field in overtime. And they lost the heartbreaker. And look, it's a heartbreaker, but shit like that happens. Your defense needs to step up. It's a team game. We can't appease the offense because the defense didn't do their job. That's one half of the field. That's how this shit works, y'all. When the Bengals faced the Chiefs in the playoffs, what did they do on their opening drive when they faced the Chiefs? Because the Chiefs had the ball first. People forget that. And the Bengals got to stop. They got to stop. That's how that shit works, y'all. All the credit, none of the blame. You're so right, Furio. So all the credit, none of the blame. All of that. That shit is crazy to me. That shit is crazy. It's always somebody else's fault and not Josh Allen's fault. Yeah, sure. Josh Allen don't got, Jamar Chase. He don't got T. Higgins. He don't got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. He don't got those guys. But he's got one of the best left tackles in the league, Deion Dawkins. He had an all-pro running back that led the league in yards, James Cook. Now, am I saying James Cook is Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley? No, but he's no scrub. He's no scrub. He's one of the 10 best running backs in the NFL. He's got one of the best tight end duos in the league in Kincaid and Knox. And now he's got DJ Moore. So I wonder what's going to be the excuse. Is DJ Moore going to just be washed this upcoming season? Maybe that's going to be it. Maybe DJ Moore is going to be the new scapegoat, just like how y'all scapegoated Stephon Diggs, right? Crazy work. Crazy, crazy work. And, when I knew it was bad was when Josh Allen was taking more accountability than the people that were critiquing him. They weren't holding him accountable at all, but he had to do their job for him and hold himself accountable. He had to do their job for him. Because after that playoffs, he was in there crying at the press conference, crying his ass off. But yet, everybody was feeling bad for him. Even though in that press conference where he was crying, he was taking accountability and said he let his team down. That was the playoffs. No Patrick Mahomes. No Lamar Jackson. Obviously no Joe Burrow because, he ain't making the playoffs anytime soon with that shitty-ass defense and his shitty-ass health. But yet, even though he realized the opportunity was lost because he was going up against a quarterback that was nowhere near the level of those guys. Going up against a Broncos team that, yes, they were the first seed, but were very vulnerable. This is a team that struggled offensively all year. So this was their chance. That was their moment. That was their opportunity. But yet, because he cried in the post-game conference, we now got to blame Sean McDermott. We got to blame the lineman for not catching the ball. Not catching the ball. We got to blame the lineman for not falling on the fumble that Josh Allen had at the end of the first half, which led to 3 points being put on the board for the Broncos before the end of the first half, y'all. We got to ignore the fact that not only did Bo Nix get hurt, people just forget all that sympathy people gave Josh Allen. Where was that sympathy for Bo Nix, the guy that actually won the game and the guy that actually outplayed your boy Josh? He outplayed him. In his first playoff, or not first, my bad, his first playoff win, he beats the Buffalo Bills. And he outplayed Josh Allen in that game. Snapped his ankle. No sympathy. I ain't hear nobody crying for that nigga at all. But yet the guy who lost and blew the game, that's who gets the sympathy because he cried some damn tears, which led to his coach getting fired. Fuck this shit, man. Y'all be dick-eating him. Y'all be swallowing Josh Allen whole. Y'all be glazing him. Y'all act like he can't do nothing wrong. I swear, bro. This shit be having me hot. I'm actually literally just sweating in here. Shout out a Tribe Called Quest, y'all. That shit is crazy, bro. That shit is crazy. I didn't say best tight end duo, but they are a good tight end duo. Kincaid and Knox are not scrubs. Okay? Let's stop that. Man. I'm out here sweating, y'all. That shit got me hot. So yeah, Dan Orlovsky, you're a Glazer, and you lead the Josh Allen hive. I don't know what the Bills are paying Dan Orlovsky, but I promise you, bro, it doesn't cost anything to have integrity. Have just a little bit of that. And I promise you, people will respect you a lot more. You don't got to get on your knees for Josh Allen. It's okay to hold him accountable because by all accounts, he holds himself accountable better than motherfuckers like you do because y'all can't do your job and be objective about him. And I don't know what the reason is. Maybe he's just quarterbacky enough for y'all. I don't know. And it's weird because even in that quarterbacky style, he's not a traditional quarterback. He's not like a pocket quarterback like Matthew Stafford. He runs the ball. He's turnover prone. He takes hits. But I guess because, he plays through injuries, he guts it out. Right? Most most starting games for a quarterback since like Brett Favre, like consecutively or some shit like that, right? He'll get that record. He'll break it. He's invincible. I wish I could put that invincible title card right there. But yeah, that shit is insane to me. Y'all be dick eating that man. Y'all be dick eating him. Y'all be riding that nigga better than his. Y'all be riding him better than Haley do. That shit is nuts. That shit is nuts, y'all. But let's move on to another hot topic in these Young Mustard streets, y'all. Let's move over to another one. Because we got some shit to talk about. Oh shit, that's my dog in the back. Nigga barking up a storm. Lord Jesus. Oh. Kelsey just came. That's why. Nigga barking at Kels. So, Amari Stoudemire recently got into the Hall of Fame, y'all. And there's been some conversations about Amari. As you can see, we got this tweet right here. So, Amari's son helped him put on his Hall of Fame jacket. And, you know, this tweet from Jamal Christopher. I genuinely think Stat was awesome, but Hall, really? He was so great, I guess. But Amari Stoudemire, if that's the bar, if you wonder if insert multi-time All-Stars here is a Hall of Famer, he probably is, right? And if you look throughout, a lot of people have been debating about Amari. What did he say about the black community? Oh, yeah, this is part of why a lot of people are hating on Amari, but we'll get to that in a second, right? A good amount of people are saying Amari Stoudemire shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Said, I understand the NBA Hall of Fame lets anybody in, but I'm trying to figure out why Amari Stoudemire got y'all reminding us of this. Amari Stoudemire? Man, watch out. So he's actually defending Amari Stoudemire. But there's a good amount of people saying he shouldn't have made the Hall of Fame. Amari Stoudemire in the Hall of Fame, and I'm supposed to believe Jason Tatum only has a 59% chance. That's a good point, actually. But yeah, a lot of conversations about Amari and if Amari is actually a Hall of Famer. And I think the reason why a lot of people, at least on social media, are acting like Amari is not a Hall of Famer or doesn't deserve it is because of, you know, this shit. You know, he's a really strong supporter of certain communities and certain movements that I'm not going to touch on, you know, for obvious reasons. But even StatMuse made this post that Amari Stoudemire in his career, 5-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Star, 2003 Rookie of the Year. And then they said enough to make it in the Hall of Fame. That's kind of wild. StatMuse might be pro Palestine with a quote like that, y'all. Oh, look, let me say this about Amari Stoudemire. I think Amari Stoudemire, based on the qualifications of the Hall of Fame, it is not a high bar to make it to the Hall of Fame. People keep confusing the basketball Hall of Fame because it's not even the NBA Hall of Fame. It's basketball. So all of his accomplishments when he went overseas and played in Israel and was one of the best players overseas, that all factors into the basketball Hall of Fame. It's not the same as the NFL Hall of Fame. It's not the same as the baseball Hall of Fame because there's really only one league that they're looking at here, right? Even they separate your college career because there's a college Hall of Fame. That's why someone like Reggie Bush, actually, I don't know if Reggie's in the college Hall of Fame because I know his Heisman situation and all of that. But you get my point. The bar is going to be higher for the NFL Hall of Fame, right? And they also even factor in like your personal life and shit like that. That's why Antonio Brown probably is not going to make the Hall of Fame until he's dead. No disrespect. And I'm a Steelers fan. I think AB should be a first ballot guy. He's going to have his Hall of Fame eligibility open up next year. And we all know he's not getting in that shit. But in the NBA, there is no official Hall of Fame just for that league. There's only a basketball Hall of Fame, and there's no way they're going to change the criteria now and just make it an NBA Hall of Fame, because let's be real, then you have to re-induct all these guys, and they're not doing that shit. Maybe they transfer the basketball Hall of Famers to the NBA. Maybe that would be the solution, but then you'd still have guys that probably shouldn't make it, then make it, and then it's going to just reset everything, and then motherfuckers like DeMar DeRozan are going to have to get in. Motherfuckers like Kyle Lowry are going to have to get in. Amari Stoudemire is going to have to get in. And look, at the end of the day, this is a guy that I feel like a lot of these youngins just may not know how good Amari Stoudemire was in his prime, at his peak. He was one of the best pick and roll bigs in the NBA, had amazing chemistry with Steve Nash. He was a great rebounder. He was one of the most explosive bigs in the NBA. He even had a solid little mid-ranger on this game. Now, did he put together the longevity? No, he did not put together the longevity. He only had about, 6 to 7 really good seasons. But he was still one of the best bigs in the league, made multiple All-NBAs. 5 All-NBAs essentially means that you were at least a top 20 to 25 player for half a decade. Come on now, let's not do that. And that doesn't include the fact that when he came in, he was the best rookie in the NBA, or at least one of the best rookies in the NBA. He had a great rookie season. Then after that, jumped to 20 points per game. He was a consistent 20-point per game scorer for almost a decade. Even when he went to New York before Carmelo got there, he was hooping. He was hooping. He actually finished top 10 in MVP voting. I don't know, man. I don't like how people are kind of just acting like, based on the standards that's been set for the Basketball Hall of Fame, how does that mean that Amari is not a Hall of Famer? Now, I have seen people say LaMarcus Aldridge should make it if he made it. And I do agree with that. But LaMarcus, I don't think LaMarcus is eligible yet. And if LaMarcus, when he's eligible, if he's not already, doesn't make it, then yeah, we're going to have a problem. But even then, Amari's been retired for about a good... When did Amari retire? Because he went to Israel to hoop for a while. So I'm pretty sure they're still going to count that as part of his playing career. So let me see. When did Amari Stoudemire retire? Yeah, his last season was in 2017. At least that's what it says on reference. Let me see. Amari Stoudemire retired in 2016. It's 2026, so he didn't even make it on first ballot, y'all. He didn't even make it on first ballot. I don't know, man. I don't really... I think people are looking at his personal life and his ties to certain connections in the world, and they're just taking it out on his actual eligibility to be in the Hall of Fame. Amari is a Hall of Famer. Now, if I had it my way and I edited it to make it a legitimate criteria to where it was just your NBA career, no, he would not be a Hall of Famer to me. He'd be the Hall of Very Good. I don't think anybody ever looked at Amari Stoudemire as a top 10 player. I don't think anybody looked at him as an MVP caliber guy. He was never seen on the level of Tim Duncan, KG, Dirk. You know, he wasn't on that tier. He was in the tier below those guys when it came to bigs and power forwards in the NBA. But at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from the fact that he was the second best player on one of the best offenses of all time, the 7 seconds or less offense. So come on, let's not do that. He's definitely a Hall of Famer based on the Basketball Hall of Fame's criteria. So let's not do that. Or actually, I'll be honest, I don't even care. I don't care that people are saying he doesn't deserve it. Just because, you know, I'm not going to sit here and make my opinions known, but, you know, based on the shit he be doing off the court, hey, have at it. You feel me? Free Palestine. But let's move on to another clown. Well, Amari, yeah. Let's move on to another clown out here in these streets, y'all. We got to talk about Stephen Clown-Ass Smith. Stephen Clown-Ass A. Smith, y'all. So here it is right here. Oh, Stephen A. responded. but let's pull it up. So, the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, they actually had their conference in Atlanta this weekend, I think. And I was actually really looking forward to go. I was going to go, but I had some things to take care of. I had work, and on top of that, I didn't book my leave well. It was a whole thing, and it was really expensive. But aside from that, Stephen A. Smith was given an award, the Thumbs Down Award. And the caption says, for recurring public patterns of disparaging public commentary directed at prominent Black women across politics, sports, and media. And here it is right here.
Stephen A. Smith, sports analyst and political commentator. Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent Black women across politics, sports, and media. Such commentary reinforces harmful narratives, undermines the fair and respectful representation of Black women in public discourse, and stands in direct conflict with NABJ's long-standing commitment to accurate, responsible, and inclusive portrayals of Black communities.
So yeah, they said, nigga, you've been cooning. They said you've been tap dancing for massa, tearing us down. Whoo! Oh Lord, they cooked that nigga. And basically, this was Stephen A. Smith's response. Somebody said, and it's wild because last year they celebrated Stephen A. Smith. So it is a little bit messy. It is a little bit two-faced. I ain't gonna lie. And Stephen A. Smith responded, he said, this is the epitome of Christmas arriving early. Let's just break that part down. You happy? Like, this is Christmas arriving early? See, that's the thing about Stephen A. His wording when he be saying some shit like, how are you happy about this? Because that's what that implies. So the NABJ want to call out folks, fine. You had your turn, now mine is coming. Make no mistake, I'm coming. Let's see who really deserves a thumbs down award when it comes to the Black community after I say my piece. Remember, the NABJ, you asked for it. I've shut my mouth for years. Now y'all started something. And maybe he has responded. Let's see if that's his last tweet. That's the last tweet he got. But yeah, that was his response. And look, I'll say this. Stephen A. Smith is a clown to me. Don't get me wrong. I do think he is a buffoon. And I think that he's now realizing, or at least he should be realizing and waking up to the idea that you have lost a lot of goodwill in the Black community. When you go off on people like Jasmine Crockett, when you show a level of disrespect and a level of condescending and you show a level of being condescending to someone like Monica McNutt, who, he goes on TV and says he put her onto the job. So basically she should shut her mouth and not disrespect him. Or hell, the disrespect was something like just her disagreeing with him, right? When you go out there and you make these comments and you speak in the tone, because it's not always what you say, but it's the tone. But yet, when you get called out by some of these white guys, and one in particular, that I won't say his name, but we all know, you don't have that energy. You don't have that energy for when Fox News calls you out and says you're a clown. Kash Patel calls you out, and you don't got none of that same smoke that you have for Jasmine Crockett, bruh. And that's the thing with Stephen A. He likes to play both sides. And over the last couple of years, he's been really leaning into the clown sellout part of his vibe, of his persona. And I think it's because ESPN has really gotten to his head. He's the clear face of the network, even though he's really struggling with that with Pat McAfee right now. But he overall is the face of the network, especially on the basketball side. And he's just let that get to his head to the point where he be moving like he's some mafia boss. And I don't understand that about Stephen A. It's so weird. He's like, you don't want to make enemies out of me. Y'all don't know the shit I know. How you going to start off that tweet by saying, it's like Christmas coming early. You've been just waiting to shit on the National Association of Black Journalists. You were just there last year being honored. But now you want to shit on them because they had something negative to say about you, when in reality, look at how you've been moving. Look at the shit you've been saying. That's wild to me. That's crazy to me. And he'll never keep that same energy if a motherfucker like Tucker Carlson or Bill O'Reilly or Cash Patel call him out. But let the NABJ call him out, and he got all this smoke. He got all these receipts. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. When it comes to disrespecting people, I'm not going to just let that shit slide, especially when it's a black woman. And it's one thing if he kept that same energy for everybody, but he don't. And I was seeing people online asking me, clowns, of course, but let me find it. Because, you know, it's always motherfuckers that sit there and try to act like they on some shit, but they not. But let me pull that shit up. So this was the tweet, you know, of course, that we just watched. And someone quoted it and said, Stephen A is a clown, but what example of him disparaging black women? I said, you didn't see how he talked down on Jasmine Crockett? This nigga said probably deserved she's a weirdo. I asked him how he's a weirdo, and all these people are responding. And someone's like, and Stephen A. Smith's not? Someone said he's a bitch ass nigga. He gave you a perfect example and you dismissed it. Weird as fuck. I gave you an example of him disrespecting black women, and you say probably deserves. So you don't even have the context of how he disrespected her. He could have called her a bitch and a whore, but you don't even care because she's a weirdo. And then I ask you to explain it, you can't even fucking explain it. That's the shit I be talking about. Somebody responded to me. Oh, I guess maybe they deleted their quote. But here it is right here. Someone said, are black women a separate race now? I think Stephen A. Smith is a dumb clown, and I dislike his grifting, obviously, but this is an obvious pandering tactic. He said that in response to the black journalist giving him a thumbs down for how he talked about black women. Look, let me put it to you guys like this. Let me put it to y'all like this. When it comes to black women in prominent positions of power, they are always going to be looked at and held to a standard that even us as black men aren't even held to at times. The patriarchy not only goes against us because it favors white men over any other demographic in this country, and white women over all female demographics in this country, even all other male demographics in this country. White men and women, they're always going to be the biggest benefactors as a demographic. But us, as a black demographic, we have to take it upon ourselves to not only hold each other accountable, but not publicly oust each other in a way that has such level of vitriol. Black women are the most disrespected demographic. Whenever it's a crime, they're always seen as whores. They're always seen as Jezebels. They're always seen as liars. Whenever it's a place of work, it's always, oh, they probably slept their way to the top. It's always, they can't wear braids. They have to conduct themselves a certain way just to be respected. White people can talk in, white women especially, they could talk in all this country slang and never be seen as unprofessional. Let a black woman talk in Ebonics. Ghetto, hood rat, skank, whore. And then you have women in positions of power like Jasmine Crockett, who I don't even understand the whole idea about her being ghetto. You got women that have been in political positions of power, white women in political positions of power. They could talk with all the country slang they want. Let Jasmine Crockett just say the word y'all, and she's ghetto. And I'm not even going to mention the people in those positions of power that are calling her ghetto and basically implying that she's a hood rat, because we know who they are. And all you motherfuckers who can't see the obvious double standard, you're purposely being oblivious because you don't want to take accountability, because you agree with the bullshit that they put out there. And Stephen A. Smith is no better, because when Cash Patel called him out and basically implied that he's a clown, where was that energy? It wasn't there. But let LeBron confront him on the court, but about how he's basically implying LeBron's not a good father. And you got all this smoke. He's been having smoke with LeBron since that moment because he punked them on the court. That's wild to me. And he do the same thing to these black women. And I think it's something to highlight because we as black men are supposed to be the protectors of our women. We're supposed to be someone who guards our women because we know the level of vitriol, we know the level of disrespect that they face from white America. But yet, this motherfucker is going to sit here and be a fucking bully to our own women. And I'm glad that NABJ called them out. I'm glad they did. It was about time a prominent black organization put this dude on blast. Because sometimes you just need a reality check. And here's the thing with Stephen A. This applies to Stephen A. This applies to Candace Owens. This applies to motherfuckers like Jesse Lee Peterson. This applies to that Officer Tatum piece of shit coon loser. To all these coons, to all these sellouts. At the end of the day, you may think that you're approximate, excuse me, let me rephrase. You may think that having proximity towards whiteness is enough to keep you in that house. But at some point, they are going to remind you niggas that you are not white. And these motherfuckers will never accept you. They will never accept you. And Stephen A. Smith is one of the biggest clowns of them all because he'll try to play both sides. I at least respect a motherfucker like Candace Owens to a degree because she let black people know, I don't fuck with y'all. I don't think I'm black. If Candace Owens didn't own a mirror, I wouldn't even know if she thinks she's black. Stephen A. Smith, he'll throw in like a little nugget here and there about racial oppression here and there. No, nigga, pick a side. Pick a side and stay on it. And he don't want to do that because he wants to throw in, hey, I helped this black person get to where they at. He wants to use the fact that he's giving out favors to black people as if that means, hey, I'm one of y'all. I support the cause. Clown ass nigga. No, that's not how that works. Either you for black people all the time or you not. Pick a side and stop vacillating. Because at some point, white people going to remind you that at the end of the day, you still just a nigga to us. That's just how it is. But let's move on to another topic, y'all. Let's talk about KG. For those who don't know, the Minnesota Timberwolves are finally deciding to retire Kevin Garnett's number. Here it is right here. KG. For those who don't know, actually, Kelsey, my wife, Kelsey, she's a big KG fan. She's a big Kevin Garnett fan. Yo, Kels! Let me call her. Kels! Hey, come here. Come in here. I got to show you something on the stream.
What?
You want to come see it?
Oh, you on the stream?
Yeah, come here.
No.
You don't even got to get in the camera for it. Just come over here. Because I told them who your favorite player was.
What?
They gonna come over here.
You said I don't have to be in it.
It's so weird, y'all. She don't want to be in the stream now, but in the beginning of the stream, she's always like, "Man, let me just sit on the chair, please. Why don't you want to be in the stream?"
Nick and Landry are back together.
What?
Nick and Landry.
She trying to talk to me about Nick and Alandra, y'all. Nobody care about that fake ass relationship.
They're back together.
Okay, it's PR.
It's not.
I'm not getting into that. But look whose jersey's getting retired.
He deserves it.
Yeah. I'm so happy for him.
He's the best NBA player of all time.
Well, he's not, but
He is.
I'm so happy for KG. And it's crazy because we all know the ownership of the Timberwolves really didn't fuck with KG. And I'm glad that like once the new ownership came in, the first thing they did, they said, "Hey, nigga, you getting your jersey retired."
Exactly.
That's wild. Shout out to
That's
KG.
next year? Why did you say 2027?
Next season. like this upcoming season, because it's gonna be 2026 and 2027.
So
So
you talking about the ceremony?
yeah,
Let's go.
yeah.
I'm going.
They're probably gonna bring all his former teammates. Like they're bringing Sam Cassell, Serbiak. That's nice. I really like this. I wonder if not PG, Paul Pierce and Rondo or whatever, like from that big three or whatever, big four. I know Ray Allen ain't gonna be there, but I wonder if Paul Pierce will be there. You gonna be there?
Yeah.
You find a way to get there on your own.
Damn.
What you mean? Our baby gonna be one? Nigga, get out of here. Nah, but yeah, I just wanted to show you that because I know you a KG fan.
All right, bye.
All right, I'll see you.
And Nicolandria, they got together.
I don't care about Nicolandria.
Wait, let me show you.
No, shut my door and get out of here. Get out.
Wait, let me show you.
No, I don't care. You could just send it to me. I will react to it later or something.
You were just talking about it.
Get out of here, please.
Told you.
Always on some goofy shit. Talking to me about Nicolandria. I don't care about that shit. But shout out my nigga KG, man. Nobody deserves this more than Kevin Garnett. It was almost like a stain on Minnesota's name that they did put his jersey in their Hall of Fame, quote unquote, like retire it and hang that shit up. Greatest player in the history of y'all franchise. It was long overdue. Long overdue. And I'm so happy for KG, man. Nobody deserves a jersey retirement more. But another thing I want to talk about, Tyrese Halliburton. So Tyrese has been a little bit busy this offseason, right? He got married. He's been healing from the injury. And he's, from all accounts, set to go for this upcoming season. And he had a take that I wanted to talk about that I was very shocked. And when he really broke it down, it was wild to think about. It's really wild to think about that this is happening to him. But here it is.
Name any other person that you compare to my level of a basketball player, wherever you have me ranked.
Hold on,
If they tore, name any other person that you compare to my level of a basketball player, wherever you have me ranked. If they tore their Achilles and missed 16 months, do you think that game would be on national television?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably think so?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you think that game would be at home if not on national television?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that game would be at New Orleans?
Wait, what?
Oh, your first game. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, that's
I ain't gonna lie. That's a crazy stray to New Orleans. If you Zion, you gotta come out in that game and drop 40. Because they're playing with your name, Zion. He's like, nigga, don't you think they could have at least put us in the Garden? That would actually be a nice little opening night. Hallie versus the Knicks in the Garden. Man, that's crazy. Crazy stray to the Smoothie King Arena.
crazy.
That's crazy.
When I saw schedule, I was like, oh wow. Not shout out Trey Murphy, love
Yeah,
my
shout
boy
out
Trey.
Trey.
Love-
Yeah,
love-
he trying to get a little bailout. Hey, Trey's my guy. He didn't even say Zion. Trey's my guy. Nigga, not slick. That was crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
New Orleans, but I was shocked to see that. But we move on.
Yeah, nah, that was crazy. Look, I ain't gonna lie. And look, I was seeing a lot of people say, who does Tyrese Halliburton think he is? A lot of people forget that not only was he on a historically great playoff run in terms of how clutch he was and the shots that he was hitting, but paired with how great he was in the playoffs in the clutch and just the amazing shots he was hitting, game winners, buzzer beaters, driving to the rim on Giannis, all of that shit. When you pair that with the fact that he had an injury that really shook the NBA, right? Because when he got hurt, I remember there were people that were saying when he was limping after game 5, motherfuckers were talking about, oh, he's just faking injury because he's playing bad. Then he goes out there, plays well in game 6, and in game 7, he's going crazy in the first quarter. 3 straight threes. He's talking his shit, popping his collar on the Thunder fans, all of that. Then he obviously goes down with the Achilles tear. But that really galvanized not only NBA fans around Hallie, but even the casual fans. Right? Like my wife, Kelsey, she knows who Tyrese Halliburton is. Not only because he was playing great, but that injury was a big injury that caught the eyes of people that weren't even watching basketball like consistently. Because it was so heartbreaking. Game 7 of the NBA Finals. People were watching that series. That was like one of the most watched finals over the last couple of years. Because not only did you have the Thunder, who were this powerhouse, but the Pacers were on this like magical playoff run. And I still maintain, if Hallie don't tear his Achilles, they win that championship. I'm sorry, OKC fans. But Hallie is just pointing out the obvious issues. This is a guy who's a star player. One of the most popular players in the league, especially at his position. And you're telling me you can't put this nigga on national TV? Meanwhile, if I'm not mistaken, one of the opening games got the Pistons and the Celtics. So you're telling me Cade, who I think Cade is better than Hallie. But you're telling me Cade and Jalen Duren, that's more than a team that made the NBA Finals when they were last healthy with Tyrese Halliburton. Come on now. That's disrespectful to Hallie. And that's also a part of the problem with the league. You got these young stars that you should be capitalizing off of their momentum. That should be a big game. Even if it ain't even if it's not nationally televised, why are you not giving that moment to the Indiana Pacers fans? The first time that Tyrese Halliburton takes the court, and you're telling me the Pacers fans can't enjoy that moment? You're going to give it to the Smoothie King Arena in New Orleans? A game that, hell, for all we know, Zion might play one game in the preseason and miss that opening game. But you're going to give that shit to New Orleans. Wow. That's crazy to me. And I'm not even saying the Pacers are going to win a championship or something. I'm not saying they're going to be, this powerhouse in the East again. Because who knows? Maybe they fall off a cliff. But for game 1, with him coming back, that's a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face. And the NBA is still too concerned with the old guard. They're too concerned with Steph Curry, LeBron, KD, And look, I'm not saying they shouldn't try to milk whatever they can out of those guys, especially Steph Curry and LeBron. And, well, actually, all three of them, they all owe the shit. Because who knows how much longer they got left. And Wemby, obviously, that's their guy. But you got to have supporting pieces in the story of the NBA. Okay? The NBA showed love to Chris Webber. It wasn't just Tim Duncan and Kobe. So show some love to a motherfucker like Tyrese Halliburton, man. That's disrespect. That's disrespect. But we got 2 more topics left. This was a pretty good stream. We still going, y'all. We still going. Another thing I want to talk about is something my boy Real Talk said. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that list. I got another list I need to react to, too, y'all. But hold on. Let me find that shit. Jesus. Let me show y'all something, man. Look at remember what I was talking about earlier with that debate I was having with that motherfucker about Kobe and he didn't pull up to the stream because he's a pussy? Look at all the messages these niggas was having, bro. My God. That shit is insane. What was this shit? So here it is. Here's this video right here. And my boy Real Talk said, y'all really moved by this shit? Here it is right here.
I remember when Maxwell was on you.
Maxwell said he could guard it.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Out loud.
Out loud. So me and Coop said, look, did you hear what he just said?
Magic has the green light to post up anytime he wants in the offensive line. Just to find the hole. Throw a whistle for the foul. That is his.
Niggas is out here gassing up Magic, Cook, and Vernon Maxwell on a one-on-one in the post, y'all. Look at that shit. Nigga did a simple spin around a 6'3" motherfucker at 6'9".
To find the hole. Throw a whistle for the foul. That is his second.
Hey, I'll give Magic this. He did make it with his left hand, and anyone who watches Magic tape knows he can't go left. So I'll give him that, y'all.
Lakers are now running. It's Lakers showtime. Magic all the way. Can't stop. Magic Johnson doing what he does.
This is what's moving these niggas here, y'all. This nigga making fast break layups. Change the game.
was like, you know. And then the last quarter, he went in the
passer,
post.
though. That was a good pass. That's moving, y'all? This nigga did a simple blow by on the wing. And that's moving some of these niggas. This is what old heads be gassing up. He's wide open for a three. I don't know why that nigga fell for that pump fake. That's insane. I'll give him that. Tough finish.
He starts sky hooking Max ass to death, right? Max tried to take away the sky. Buck drops that layup.
Niggas is gassing up hitting a sky hook on a 6'3" guard, y'all. That shit crazy. Eli said him being better than Kobe really hurts your heart. Eli, get the fuck out of here. We respect niggas that can go left. And I was like, motherfuckers be saying he the greatest Laker and top 5 to ever do it. Real talk said 6'9" dude score against a 6'3" guy on the block, y'all. And that's gassed up. Look, let me say this about Magic, and this is no disrespect because I think Magic is one of the 10 best players of all time. I ain't gonna disrespect him like that. At bare minimum, top 15 all time. I say that for a reason that I'm gonna get into. But I feel like Magic Johnson is a player that really exposes a lot of hypocrisy from NBA fans on how they assess players, right? Because you got motherfuckers out here that will say they can't put Steph Curry over certain guys because of his defense, right? And hell, they'll even use that argument against him in the greatest point guard of all time conversation. And sure, Magic was not like as bad as Steph Curry just by virtue of his height, but considering his height, Magic was not a great defender. He was not a great defender. He was good at getting in, off-ball lanes and, getting in passing lanes, disrupting rotations and things like that. He was a good, solid, decent off-ball defender, and he was a good rebounder, but on the ball, he got cooked a lot. He didn't even have to guard the best offensive players. They left that shit to people like Michael Cooper. But yet, you're going to hold that against Steph Curry, but not this 6'9" motherfucker who wasn't even guarding his own position because he wasn't a great defender. We seen what Isaiah Thomas did to him in the finals. Sprained ankle and all. And then you throw in the fact that a lot of people will hold it against motherfuckers like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James for the teams that they played with. But Magic can get drafted to play with the best player in the league, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But sure, because he won Game 6 without Kareem in a series that he shouldn't have even won the Finals MVP. But hey, he had a historic Game 6 in the Finals as a rookie. So who cares that he played with Norm Nixon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jamal Wilkes, Byron Scott, Michael Cooper, James Worthy, first overall pick? Who cares? But let LeBron be on the Cleveland Cavaliers with Kyrie and Kevin Love, and it's a problem, y'all. Hell, I'll never forget when LeBron was with the Cavs in 2017. And all this nigga did was ask for a backup point guard. That's all he did. Because when him and Kyrie were off the court, they were fucking garbage. They were buns. They needed someone to run the second unit. And he ended up getting Darren Williams off the Mavs. I think he got released or traded there. And it was a big problem. But Magic can go out there and play with all these top 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 players. And it ain't no issue, y'all. It ain't no issue at all. That shit is wild to me. That shit is nuts. And then on top of that, you got to add into the fact that Magic didn't even have that long of a prime. Let's pull that shit up. Man, what the fuck is on Basketball Reference? Why is it tweaking like this? What the fuck is going on? Whatever. I'll get to that later. And then you add on to the fact that Magic's prime wasn't that long. He didn't put together these long years of dominance. He didn't. And on top of that, Magic wasn't even the best player in his era. It was Larry Bird. Larry Bird was better than Magic, but I think because Magic Johnson won more championships, people think that people saw them as like eye to eye. No, Larry Bird was seen as the better player than Magic Johnson in that era. And when Magic came into the league, he wasn't the best player on that team. It was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Don't let that finals MVP shit fool you off of one game. That shit don't erase the fact that in the 5 games before that game 6, that was legendary, iconic, I'm not taking it away from him, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the best player on the court in that series. That shit is crazy to me. And even when you're talking about closing games out, why do people just forget the fact that Magic Johnson dribbled out the shot clock twice in an NBA Finals game that led to him being called Tragic Johnson? Why do people ignore the fact that in the clutch, right? Everybody likes to get on the fact that LeBron don't like to take the last shot. LeBron not clutch. In the clutch, did they go to Magic or did they go to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You talk about people sparing motherfuckers. Why does nobody talk about the fact that only 2 players in NBA history have had a triple-double in Game 7? That was LeBron James and James Worthy, Magic Johnson's teammate. Big Game James can show up for his teammates, but God forbid Ray Allen hits one shot in Game 6, y'all. God forbid. And why do people undervalue scoring in these conversations? Magic is probably the worst scorer out of all the players in the top 10. Out of all of them, probably even top 15. Jordan, LeBron, Hakeem, Bill Russell, my bad. Bill Russell's the exception. Bill Russell's the worst out of all of them. But LeBron, Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, Duncan, Bird, Hakeem, Curry. Who else am I forgetting? Wilt Chamberlain, Kevin Durant, Giannis, Dirk. Like, there are so many players that are better scorers than Magic. And I understand he's an elite playmaker, an amazing playmaker. But then why do y'all hold it against somebody like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain for the eras that they played in? But nobody likes to cook the fact that Magic was a 6'9" point guard who couldn't go left and played in an era where he obviously had a height advantage and he was just ahead of his time. And I'm not knocking him for it. But if you go knock guys like Wilt and Bill Russell for being ahead of their time and the level of competition, why don't y'all hold that shit against Magic? Why don't y'all? Because Magic and Bird, and a lot of this stuff also applies to Larry Bird, but Larry Bird doesn't get thrown in top 5 conversations. He don't get thrown in those convos. They both didn't have much longevity. Sure, Magic won more than Bird, but he had a better team than Bird, and Bird still won 3. And on top of that, at that time, Larry was considered better than Magic. There is no debate on who peaked higher. The MVPs prove it. What people were saying proved it. The numbers proved it. And the film proved it. Sure, Larry Bird in the playoffs, his scoring, it definitely took a hit when he was facing more physical defenses. And his shooting value was, not as much as people think. I'll just say that. It wasn't as much as people think. He didn't shoot that much. But on top of that, the guy could still space the floor, especially for that era. He was a solid ball handler for that time. A really good passer and a great rebounder. Probably a better rebounder than Magic. But yet, people are going to sit there and say that Larry Bird and Magic, when you see these rankings, it's as if Larry Bird wasn't the obvious better player than Magic. That shit is weird. It would almost be like, let's say the Sixers next year win another champion, they win a championship. And then they win, let's say the Sixers three-peat the next 3 years. And then motherfuckers are saying Joel Embiid is ranked higher than Nikola Jokic, considerably higher than Jokic. What would be the argument? Because we're watching this era right now, and motherfuckers are saying that Jokic is better than Joel Embiid. It's always been that way for a good chunk of their careers, for pretty much their whole primes. Jokic has been better. Maybe a couple years earlier on, Embiid was better, right? Especially his rookie year and everything, because it took Jokic a little while to really get going to where he is now. But ever since they've been MVP caliber players, Jokic has been better. And that's been pretty much the consensus. So why is it different now with Magic and Bird? That's always been very strange to me. You can tell it's a lot of winning bias when it comes to Magic Johnson and where he ranks on a lot of these lists. And if you just watch the games, what's so impressive about this nigga doing a turnaround spin move on somebody in the paint? What's so impressive about him doing that and getting an easy layup? You talk about some of these jump shots. He wouldn't be able to get off any of those jumpers in the 2000s or the 2010s, that shit gets swatted into the fucking crowd. He had no left hand. And I do think if you just drop Magic in the 2000s, 2010s, let him grow up in that era, he would eventually adjust. I do think so. But if you just drop him as is, nigga, that shit getting ripped every fucking time. Every fucking time that shit getting got. Jason Kidd, give me that. AI, give me that. Hell, Steph Curry, give me that shit. Come on, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. I'm telling y'all, Magic, in my opinion, is one of the more overrated top 10 players of all time. Actually, I think out of all the top 10 players, Magic is probably the most overrated. Because I know some people are going to say Kobe because some people put Kobe in the GOAT convo, or some people don't think Kobe's even top 5. But the thing with Kobe is Kobe has like kind of like this range of guys. Some people don't even think Kobe's top 10, which I think is insane. And to act like he doesn't have an argument for top 5, I also think is crazy. But at the end of the day, because there's such a vast, difference and stark of opinion between Kobe, like people who think he's in the top 5, top 3, whatever, versus people that don't even think he's top 10 or bottom of the top 10, don't have an argument for top 5, I think it kind of balances itself out. And I wonder, why do people think Magic's the greatest Laker? What makes y'all think that Magic was a better Laker than Kobe Bryant? He wasn't a better defender than Kobe Bryant. He wasn't a better scorer than Kobe Bryant. In the playoffs, Magic was nowhere near the scorer that Kobe was. Kobe faced tougher competition. Kobe faced tougher defenses. And then you talk about conferences. Motherfuckers be killing LeBron for playing in the East Motherfuckers be killing LeBron for playing in the shitty East in the 2000s and 2010s. But why don't y'all be cooking Magic for some of them shitty ass Western conferences that he played and went through to get to the finals? Y'all don't be killing him enough for that. Especially with the dominant Showtime Lakers. I'm so glad I could just pull this shit up. Because I know I'm not bullshitting. Okay, I don't know what the fuck this shit is on. What the hell is up with Basketball Reference? Why is it doing this? Now let's pull that shit up. Here it is right here. Oh, should I say Lil Trady? He said he's at the J. Cole concert. Shout out to you, my brother. Look at these Eastern conferences. Let's pull up 1982 when they made the finals, or when they won their second championship. They faced Phoenix in the first round. Let's look at their record. 46-36. San Antonio, 48-34. And then Philly, they didn't even have to go through 3 rounds to get to the finals, y'all. And then, of course, they faced Philly, 58-24. Finally, the first great team they faced in the playoffs, y'all. They ran through 2 teams with under 50 wins in the first 2 rounds. And then if you go to that Western Conference, let's see. Let's see what was going on over there, y'all. Actually, this is not that bad compared to some years with the West. I ain't gonna hold you. But less teams. On top of that, only 2 rounds to have to go through. And they didn't have to face the Sonics. Interesting. Let's go to 1986, because they won 86. More teams now making the playoffs. Look at this. Something just happened. I thought I just heard some shit. But 1985. When the Lakers won a championship, they won 62 games. Look at this Western Conference, y'all. They faced the Suns in the first round, who won 36 games. They faced the Suns. Of course, they're going to sweep the shitty-ass Suns. They won 36 games. They were a bottom half offense in the NBA. Cool. Next round, they face the Trailblazers, who won 42 games. I guess we got to gas that up, y'all. And then they finally face a 50-win team. They face the Denver Nuggets, who are a bottom half defense in the NBA. Interesting. But let LeBron face the Wizards and the Pistons and the Nets, and all hell break loose. That shit crazy to me. So a lot of the talking points that people use against other players in the top 10, when it comes to Magic, it just seems like all those talking points go away. And that's why I feel like out of all the top 10 players, Magic is probably the most overrated one in the top 10. That's just my thoughts on it, my opinion. But let's look at the final thing that we need to talk about. The final thing to talk about, y'all. And that is this obsession that I'm seeing with these analytic nerds and Derek fucking White. This will be the last thing we talk about, and then we done. Oh, fuck. My fault, y'all. I completely forgot I didn't change the screen over. So here we go. And, shout out Nerd Sesh. You got Logan and Carson. These guys have been doing their thing with the content over the last couple of years. My boy Alvini said, I'm not much of a ranking guy, but this list is ugly. Some of these guys I'd expect to be shooting guards now, small forwards and point guards now. When did the position get this week? That's a fact, y'all. That's a fact. But here's their top 10 shooting guards. This is Carson's: Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Derek White, Austin Reeves, Desmond Bane at 6. Look at Derek White, bro. Man, that shit is crazy to me. Let's start that shit over. This nigga had Anthony Edwards at 1, cool. Donovan Mitchell at 3, cool. Donovan Mitchell at 2, cool. Devin Booker at 3, that's fine. Derek White at 4 over Austin Reeves and Desmond Bane. Nigga, that shit is nasty. AJ Mitchell at 7 and Alex Caruso at 8. Nigga, is the shooting guard position that bad? Wow. Alex Caruso at 8 is just crazy. That is crazy. Niggas out here putting role players above legit starters. I don't know if this is projection or just based off of last season. There's got to be more shooting guards than I can remember. Let's look this shit up, bro. There's got to be more shooting guards than I can remember. Like, maybe I'm forgetting somebody. Like, I got to be forgetting someone. Devin Vassell's their... Or actually, no. I think Castle is the shooting guard for the Spurs, right? He was playing the 2. Well, I guess he was running some point. But, like, in their most used lineup, it was Castle and Vassell at the 2 and the 3. Correct? Am I tripping? Because I know Vassell was running the 3. Yeah. Castle, Fox, Vassell, Wemby, and Champagne. Whatever. I guess he don't count. Whatever. Let's just excuse him. So, let's see. Jaylen Brown. Where do they listen Jaylen Brown as? A 3? Right? Because I guess VJ is at the 2 now. Or he was at the 2 last year. They already said Donovan Mitchell. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, low key. I guess Mikal and OG are the 4 and the 3, so that's cool. That's fine. But the thing is, Josh Hart, he plays a lot of 4. So wouldn't OG or Mikal make the list? I don't know how they're assessing these positions. Honestly, I'm a little confused. They said Con Knipple. Tyler Hero ain't even make the list. Is he on the other list? That's interesting. So no Tyler Hero. They think AJ Mitchell is better than Tyler Hero and Alex Caruso. I mean, if you want to talk about value, sure, on a contending team, because Tyler Hero, every time he gets to the playoffs, is just a fucking mess. But come on, like, let's be serious here. Zach LaVine. These niggas think Alex Caruso is better than Zach LaVine, y'all. Wow, they think AJ. Shit is just crazy. But honestly, the crazy one is Derek White. I'm so sick of this Derek White agenda. How do they fucking both agree? Kassan Wallace and Alex Caruso. Wow. Darren Peterson hasn't even played a fucking game. What the fuck? I didn't even see that part. Bruh. Yeah, I gotta log out after that. That's fucking gross, bro. I don't know what these well, I know what these analytic niggas look at with Derek White, but wow. Just wow. But you boys, you guys, girls, gals, gentlemen, ladies, women, men, children, people of all ages, I appreciate you guys for coming on this stream. Got some clips probably dropping tomorrow. If you haven't seen my Russell Westbrook video, make sure you guys go and check that out. I made a video talking about Russ and his career and just my overall thoughts on his legacy. I think there's a lot of disingenuous stuff coming out as of late, good and bad, with Russell Westbrook. So I just took it upon myself to make my own opinion and my own take on it. So you guys go and check that out. I'll actually put it on the screen real quick. Wrong one. There you go. Y'all go and check it out. Y'all go check out the latest Russell Westbrook video. Yes, I watched that shit. I watch my own videos, y'all. But y'all go and check out the latest Russell Westbrook video. And let me know what y'all think about it. Appreciate y'all for pulling up